Hi guys and welcome to Potion Week 36. We only have 3 weekends to go now until the end of the season. It's all exciting as well, everyone. In the top 4 race, we have a title race. It's been actually a quite enjoyable season this year. As I said, usually the title's done and buried now. Most teams are in the top 4, they know where they stand. And this year, though, we still have a relegation battle. We still have top 4. We still have the title race. So it's been a really, really good, entertaining season this season. And speaking of the title race, at 8 o'clock tonight we have Liverpool versus Huddersfield. Obviously, Huddersfield have already been relegated, nothing to play for other than pride. But Liverpool, looking to get their first title in 20 years. Is it? Might have to be 30. Is it 30? 20 years? 30 years? So yeah, they're not gonna fuck up a game like this, especially at Anfield. So I'm gonna go Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. At 12:30 tomorrow, we have a bit of a derby: Tottenham versus Tottenham versus West Ham. I think West Ham will make it quite difficult for Tottenham, but I think Tottenham will scrape it. I think Tottenham will get third now, to be fair, and I'll get later on to that later on in the show. So for the game, I'm going to go Tottenham 2, West Ham 1. We then have Southampton versus Bournemouth. Obviously, Southampton are still fighting for their lives at the moment. Bournemouth, they're down there, but they're not really, in a relegation battle. So I'm going to go Southampton 1, Bournemouth 1. We have Fulham versus Cardiff. Obviously, Fulham have also been relegated. Cardiff playing for everything at the moment. I think they will be the other team that does go down. But I'm going to go for Cardiff to win this one because obviously they are fighting and Fulham are not. Sometimes it's hard to find that passion, and that pride. When you've already been relegated and you've got nothing to play for. And then you've got a team that's fighting for everything. Can't really see it happening. So I'm going to go Fulham 0, Cardiff 2. We have Watford versus Wolves. Obviously, Watford absolutely battered the fucking shit out of Arsenal on Wednesday, 3-1. They've had a fantastic season. As I've said constantly all season, if their board can, spend the right kind of money in the summer, they're going to be a real force next year. Wolves. We've seen it before with Reading having an outstanding season and they didn't get backed, got relegated. Hull had a season like that. Didn't get back, got relegated. Aston Villa had a season like that one year when they were actually in the top 4 for the majority of the season, and I think they finished about 6th that season. Again, didn't get backed by the board, and now they find themselves in the Championship playoffs, but they've been in the Championship for the last 3 years. So, I say, if Wolves... Wolves chairman can spend the right kind of money, then I think Wolves will go far. They've got a fantastic coach and a fantastic group of players. So, just add a couple of, better upgrade players than what they've already got. And I think that Wolves could do something next season. I'm not saying they're going to win the title or anything like that, but, they could win an FA Cup. They could even get themselves into the Europa League. Who knows what money, can do. As for the game... Watford and Wolves. Yeah, this is a different kind of approach, to how Wolves would approach the Arsenal game. I think it's going to be quite tougher, actually. So I'm going to go Watford 1, Wolves 1. We then have Crystal Palace versus Everton. Obviously, Crystal Palace also beating Arsenal last season. What is going on? I'm going to get to that later on in the shows again. But so for this game, I'm going to go for it. And Everton also beating Man United 4-0 last week. So they're both on a high at the moment. But I'm going to go for a really, really entertaining draw for this one. I'm going to go Crystal Palace 2, Everton 2. Let's have a cracking weekend. So towards the end of the season now, let's have a cracking game. Why not make it them two? At 5:30, we have Brighton versus Newcastle. Obviously, Newcastle, they're more or less safe now. Brighton, more or less safe, I think. But it is at home. I'm going to go Brighton 2, Newcastle 0. At 12 o'clock on Sunday, we have Leicester versus Arsenal. What is going on in this top 4 race? What is going on? Spurs just about beat Brighton at home on Tuesday night. Arsenal losing to Crystal Palace at home 3-2. Manchester United getting battered 4-0 to Everton. Arsenal getting battered to Wolves 3-1 on Wednesday. And obviously Manchester City are in a different class, but Man United didn't even turn up. The defence didn't even bloody turn up. I think it took 84 minutes in the Everton game for them to even have their first shot on target. What is going on? And Chelsea drawing 2-2 against Burnley as well at Stamford Bridge. Who the hell wants this top 4 place? It doesn't seem like any of those 3 teams want it. As I say, going back to what I said earlier, I think Tottenham are going to get third now because even though they're just scraping results, they're getting results. They're bloody winning. They're not fucking about. But Arsenal, Manchester United and Chelsea, they're just like, oh, no, we'll play fucking stupid this week and then you can play the retards next week. And then, it's absolutely frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. Our home record has been fantastic all season, so you would have relied on that, to Arsenal to at least beat Crystal Palace and put some pressure, on Manchester United and Chelsea and the other. But no, we'll do a typical Arsenal and we'll just fucking play stupid and we'll lose 3-2. So Manchester United have so Burnley has drew to Chelsea on Monday night 2-2. Manchester United have Manchester City in a derby. We know what Manchester City can do, so this is a chance. I know Wolves will be hard, but this is a chance for us to show our quality and and go a couple of points clear going forward. No, we'll play retards again and we'll lose 3-1 and get absolutely annihilated by Wolverhampton Wanderers and make ourselves look, like complete bottlers. Yep, that's the Arsenal way. That's what we'll do. Absolutely a complete joke. Again, it's come to that stage now where I'm like, I don't even know what to predict for us anymore. Again, you'd look at it and you'd think Manchester United versus Chelsea, that could be a good game for us because both teams are going to be going for it. Is it going to be them, stuck in midfield kind of game, so it'll be a draw and we could go to Leicester and get 3 points and get away from them? Or are we going to do a typical Arsenal and those 2 teams will draw and we'll lose like 3 or 4-0? What's going to happen? I don't know. Tell you the truth, I really don't. I'm just praying to God, I'm hoping that Unai Emery is not going to allow for us to have a 3rd consecutive, loss. We didn't play that great against Watford, to be fair, but that was a typical team that wants to basically we did a Spurs in that game. We grinded out the result. We didn't play great, but we got the result. But Leicester, yeah, we know what they're going to do. They're going to catch us on the break. Jamie Vardy's going to have a game of his fucking life. Arsenal shit at the back. I don't know how the hell I came up with this scoreline. I really don't know how the hell. Some people could call me biased. I don't think it is biased. I think it's just genuinely. I just don't think that Arsenal can afford to keep making these stupid mistakes. Not when Manchester United have got another tough game. If you think about it, they played Everton, which would have been a tough game anyway, but they lost 4-0. So if you think about it, if we'd have beat Crystal Palace last week and we'd have beat Wolves, going into this Manchester United-Chelsea game, we could have been about 6 or 7 points clear of these 2 teams by now. So I think Unai Emery's got to say we've got to take advantage this weekend. In fact, we start at 12 o'clock. And those 2 don't even kick off till 4:30. So this is our chance now. This is our chance to put some pressure on those 2 teams that are also fighting for that 4th place that kick off against each other at 4:30. This is your chance. Make or break. How badly do you want that top 4? Go out and show me. 12 o'clock kick-off. I'm saying this as a fan now. Go out and show me how badly you want this top 4. Go and put some pressure on that Manchester United-Chelsea game. But if you don't, you're not getting it. And to be quite frank with you, I think I'll say this anyway, but you don't really deserve it. So, I'm going to rely on my Arsenal team. Very bad risk, I know. But I'm going to rely on them. And we're going to grind out a result like we did against Watford. So I'm going to go Leicester 0, Arsenal 1. And you better fucking not let me down this weekend, I swear to God. At 2:05, we have Burnley versus Manchester City. Obviously, Burnley will make it quite tough for Manchester City. I wonder if Joe Hart will play a part. He's in goal for Burnley. But I still think that Manchester City will be too strong for them. So I'm going to go Burnley 1, Manchester City 3. 4:30 we have the Manchester United-Chelsea game. And again, providing how the game's gone with Leicester-Arsenal. But that's divided by... I think that both of these teams don't really have enough in them to beat the other one. Like, I look at Manchester United's squad and look at Chelsea's squad, and I can't really see a winner. Yeah, like Hazard might have the game of his life. Pogba might have the game of his life. But is that going to be enough to win them the game? I don't think it is. So I'm going to go Manchester United 1, Chelsea 1. So that has been my predictions for this weekend, guys. A little bit of a rant as well. That's what we need towards this end of the season. Give your team a bit of a fucking kick up the backside when they need it. And I will see you next week for next week's predictions. Thank you for watching, guys.